You think it's just harmless scrolling, right? A quick check on your phone, maybe a few videos before you fall asleep. But what if that little glowing rectangle in your pocket is actually a drug dealer? And what if it's slowly, quietly killing your ambition? Yeah, let's break this down because the science behind it is, well, it's pretty terrifying, but it's also incredibly empowering once you understand it.
And look, this isn't just a problem for teenagers. These words, they came from a 58-year-old man, a guy who kicked a 45-year drinking habit, only to realize he just picked up a new addiction. He said he'd just swapped one master for another, a smaller, glowing one. The mindless scroll first thing in the morning, feeling for your phone when it's not even there. It's the exact same trap. It's a pattern that feels, well, a little too familiar for most of us, doesn't it?
And that's really the heart of it. This device in your hand, it's not just a tool anymore. It's become more like a slot machine, perfectly engineered to exploit a deep vulnerability in your brain. And it doesn't care if you're 15 or 58, the way it gets you hooked is exactly the same. So how does this con trick actually work? I mean, how does a simple phone pull this off? Let's get into the neurology of it.
It all boils down to this thing called the dopamine loop. See, our brains are basically running on ancient software. They're hardwired to give us a hit of this feel-good chemical, dopamine, as a reward for effort. Hunt the animal, get the food, feel great, simple. But our phones, they've completely hacked that system. They give us these tiny, unearned little squirts of dopamine for practically zero effort. And you can really see the difference here. The ancient brain, our original design, gets this deep, lasting satisfaction from rewards we actually earn. But the hijacked brain is just getting these cheap, empty-calorie highs from likes and notifications. And all that does is create this constant, nagging craving for more. It's like the difference between cooking a satisfying, delicious meal and just eating a whole bag of candy.
So, what happens when your brain gets used to this constant 24/7 buffet of cheap dopamine? Well, as you can probably guess, the consequences are pretty huge.
This is the real price we pay. Your brain literally builds up a tolerance. The baseline for what it takes to just feel good gets higher and higher. And all of a sudden, a real-life conversation, reading a book, going for a walk, it all starts to feel, well, kind of boring. It just can't compete with the fireworks on the screen. Your ability to focus on anything hard gets completely annihilated because your brain is just screaming for its next easy fix. And you're left feeling anxious and restless when you're not getting it.
And I really need you to hear this part. If this sounds like you are not lazy. You're not a failure. It means your brain's reward system has been chemically hijacked. It's been rewired to prefer easy, mediocre stimulation over difficult, meaningful work. It's a chemical problem, not a character flaw.
Okay, I can already hear what some of you are thinking. Come on, I'm not addicted. I'm just scrolling to relax, to unwind after a long day. It's the go-to justification, right? But is it actually true? The answer is a hard no. It's not relaxation. It's anesthesia. You're just numbing yourself. You're numbing your brain's desperate scream for a real mission, for a genuine challenge to sink its teeth into. See, true relaxation is what comes after you've put in real effort, not from just avoiding it.
All right, so that's the bad news. That's the diagnosis. But here's the good news. You can absolutely fight back. You can take back the keys to your own brain. So let's talk about the battle plan.
The strategy is actually pretty simple. It's a 3-step counter-offensive. Step 1, you have to consciously declare war on easy dopamine. You have to see it for what it is. Step 2, you starve the beast. You cut off the supply of cheap hits from your screen. And step 3, you start feeding your brain what it's actually hungry for, those difficult, earned rewards that come from real life. That's the entire game right there. So how do we actually do that? How do we start feeding it the right stuff? Well, it turns out there's this one incredibly powerful tool you can use. Think of it like hitting a neurological reset button for your entire reward system.
And here's the wild part. It only takes 2 minutes. That's it, 2 minutes. The most powerful weapon you have in this fight is a 2-minute cold shower. And I know, that sounds insane, but stick with me and look at the science.
Just look at this chart. It's unbelievable. An hour of scrolling on your phone gives you about a 50% dopamine spike over your baseline, and then you crash, leaving you feeling worse than before. But a 2-minute cold shower, it triggers a massive 250% increase in dopamine. And here's the key. It's sustained for hours. It's this deep, powerful wave of focus and energy that you actually earned.
And this isn't about being tough or macho. It's a chemical lesson for your brain.
It literally recalibrates your reward system. It teaches your brain, on a deep, neurological level, that true, lasting reward comes from conquering resistance, not from just passively consuming whatever's on a screen.
So, it all comes down to this. Our brains have been systematically rewired by technology to crave what's easy. The path of least resistance is now our default setting. But now you know this. You know there's a way to fight back. So the only question left is, how are you going to deliberately choose effort today?